Well, greetings for color fans and welcome back to Metal Rug's channel. And today I have a video that that focuses on a particular artist, one of my very favorite artists, but one that is not very well known and didn't have a long span of art in the Bronze Age, and that is Mike Ploog. And Mr. Ploog is actually still with us. He was born in the early 40s, I do believe, and he was a protege, an understudy of Will Eisner. And you can sort of see a little bit of Eisner in his art, but he really has his own really unique style. And it is one that really lends itself to the horrorish mystery genre because, in my opinion at least, right? I mean, it's his art has a sort of a flow to it, almost like, like the monsters and the beings are, like flowed, like they have like some kind of ick on them or some kind of, sweat, or they've been through bogs and so forth. So it has that nice, fluid, but yet creepy sort of tilt to it, shall we say. But Mr. Ploog worked first for Warren Publishing for just a few things, but he really got, to me, he's really more famous for his monster covers, and he did most of the interiors of the ones I'm going to show you as well for Marvel, but only for a few years, from 72 to 76 or so. Right, but I'm going to title this The Horror Covers of Mike Ploog. He did do some Marvel magazines, and he did color and ink some other covers, but I think these are all the ones that he actually penciled. All right, so we'll start here with Marvel Premiere number 5. He didn't ink his own work here. I can tell it's not quite as gooey, for lack of a better term, but than his other stuff. And here is Marvel Premiere number 6. But definitely, Mr. Ploog is very underrated, again, because he didn't have a long career he did have a long career in animation and advertising, things like that. But as far as his Marvel monster career, was only a few years there. So not like, for example, Gil Kane, who was there for decades and so forth. And here's Marvel Premiere number 7. Again, that looks more like the gooey part that I'm telling you there, like that flowing pus or whatever that is. By the way, he signed most of his covers. Some of them are hard to find, but this one's easy. You can see down there Ploog, and there's a lot of those that he has on a rectangle like that. So it's a kind of easy spot, but sometimes they're kind of hidden. Then he was, by the way, this is sort of in chronological order, but again, I've just put the series. So Marvel Premiere, then Marvel Spotlight, you get it, the way they came, so on and so forth. So here he started on, this is, I believe his very first was this one here, very first cover for Marvel Spotlight, again, that he penciled, number 3. And again, you can see the detail here in the face. Really, he's just a fine artist. Really enjoy his work. And there again, you can see that kind of lumpiness, or that kind of that Ploog down there. It kind of I don't know how else you call it. Kind of gnarly stuff that the monsters have. But I really enjoy his art. And of course, this is probably his most famous cover of Marvel Spotlight 5, the first Ghost Rider. I think he had a creative input into the Ghost Rider. I think maybe the Flaming Skull part, I'm not exactly sure, but you can see the Ploog down there. But really enjoy his work. I have that one by itself because it's special. Here's number 6. And you can see there he put his whole name, Mike Ploog. So I just figured I'd just show, so you can, just so people know that, his art is really something. But again, it's not all that, it wasn't as widespread as perhaps his talent dictated. But I believe he got into a bit of a disagreement over with the editors in Marvel, and so he left, and I believe he left and did advertising or animation. I'm not exactly sure, but you can't, to me, his art just is really stupendous. The detail that he puts into it, the creepiness aspect to it. Where we'll find out number 1. Of course, this is right after the Marvel Spotlight appearances. And Ploog is down there by his foot, as you can see there. Yeah, really nice stuff. Just enjoy his art to death. Again, he did most of the interiors of this as well. He also did the interiors for the Planet of the Apes magazine. So he's very well known for that as well. And there's 2, 3. Look at that. Look at that cool monster coming out of that being conjured. And there's the Ploog down there. Yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. I've had these for a long time. Picked them up when cheap, but I just love his art. Especially in the, you know, obviously most of these are going to be monsters. Some are the calls, etc., are perhaps not really monster per se, but they have monster elements to them. So I you know, just as a completist, all his covers are from Marvel at the era, you know, I just put them out here. And here is where we'll find out number 6. I believe this is, he took a break after this one, I do believe. I think that's Ploog up there in the poster, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's Ploog up there. Sometimes he does hide it a bit. And then, no, actually 7 is Ploog as well, right? I think that's Ploog as well, yeah. Let me see if I can verify that. Well, that sure looks like Ploog to me, that lady. I could be wrong, though. I will put it in the description if it's not, okay? But I'm pretty sure it is. And there's 8, definitely a Ploog cover. Yeah, that 7 has to be a Ploog. They're not going to have like a one-off there that there's Ploog right up there. Yeah, so. All right, so the first 8 Werewolf by Night covers, we'll call it that. If it's different, I'll let you know. And then for whatever reason, took off a few issues, but he's back here on, no, not 12, 13, sorry. And there's Ploog right there, down there by the foot. Again, just like, you know, look at the, you know, the gnarly, you know, being there, wrapped up in bandages. Wait till you see the Frankenstein stuff, you know. Now you're going to see some really cool bandages. There's 14, another Ploog there, signature. Just coolness, right? Just real coolness stuff here. Yeah, there's Ploog down there, right below the gargoyle there. Yeah, Dracula. That's the crossover with Tomb of Dracula. I forgot the issue. And here's a Hunchback of Notre Dame. I believe that's a Ploog as well. Maybe he, looks like maybe he didn't ink this one. I'm not sure exactly. But that's a Ploog woman there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, all right. So that's the Werewolf by Night. And then we go to the Monster of Frankenstein. Again, most of these are in the horror genre, the vast majority. Look at this one. Look at the bandages here. Come on. Isn't that just coolness? Look at the mouth there. The eyes, that disheveled hair. Yeah, good stuff. I think the first 6 Frankenstein covers are all his. More bandages for the bride of the monster. I think the first 4 or 5 of these adapt the Shelley novel, which is, of course, one of my favorites. And there's number 3. Kind of reminiscent of that first Swamp Thing cover, huh? And there's 4. Is this the monster's death? Nope. Let's keep going. Love this cover with that, you know, tilted wave action there. Lady is tied to one of the booms. Yeah, very nice. And no, that's not a Ploog. That another one. And here is Cole work. A lot of people don't know about this one, but yeah, he did some Cole. And he did the interiors even beyond the covers on this one, but I'll just show you the ones that he did the covers. 11, there's Ploog right over there on the right. 12, Thulsa Doom. Yeah. Cool stuff. And he did he do 13? Maybe he didn't. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I think he did 13 as well. Look at that cool skull back there. But he did the interiors, I know, for 14, not the cover, okay? So let's just say he did the interiors 14 and 15. And then the Man-Thing. We'll finish up with that, I do believe. And that is he did Man-Thing number 5, the cover, of course. He did the interiors as well. I think 2 of these. And there was also a record, power record of this one. Really cool stuff in here. And there's 6. Let's see where Ploog, right over here. There's the Ploog signature right there. Really, just really enjoy his art. So I wanted to highlight it because, again, I think a lot of people don't know that much. Of course, these comics are now 50-something years old, so I got to understand that. But look at that guy. Come on, Ploog. Great work, buddy. Look at that detail on that zombie-ish being. Come on. Here's 9, Tree Demon. Yeah. And here is, I think this is Gil Kane here, the 10, I do believe. I don't see a Ploog signature. That looks Gil Kane-ish to me. So maybe he didn't do 10, maybe he did partially, but he did do 11, I do believe. Or else I wouldn't have it here. It's stuck there. Let's see. Yep, there's a Ploog right over there. There we go. Very cool. Excellent artist. And then finally, Giant Size Man Thing #1. It's the last Ploog cover that, at least that I know of, that he did for Marvel in this genre. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. And again, if let me know if you know of any other Ploog work or covers that I missed here, or if you've heard of him, if you have any favorite of his art, comics that he did, or any other stuff that he did that I'm missing. I know he did Police Action, the interiors for Atlas Seaboard. Again, he did do work here and there after this, but this was where for a few years at Marvel, he was really one of the top horror artists, if not the top horror artist, in my opinion. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care, everybody. Be kind to each other. Be blessed. Be back.